I am a type 1 diabetic on O for over 6 months, barely lost any. Okay, so when you are a type 1 or a type 2, there are things that you have to be very mindful of, because when you're type 1, type 2, it is almost impossible. You have to trust the process, is what I tell my diabetics that come in. So before I left traditional practice, I did a lot of diabetic teaching, to be honest with you. So it was one of my things that I was really, really, really good about. Diabetics. This is so important, but it's so difficult. So when you're a diabetic, protein, as long as you don't have kidney issues, because when you have kidney issues, you have to talk to your nephrologist to specifically work with this one, because diabetes is difficult. Diabetes is one of those things that really makes losing hard. So when you're a diabetic, protein is like one of the most important things, but also blood sugar control is the other very important thing. So if your blood sugar is not perfect and your A1C, it's not even so much the A1C, but the A1C is not controlled, then the blood sugar is not controlled. So what I mean by that is, if your blood sugar is not at the absolute, I would say like 100 to 120, fasting. So when a person is diabetic, actually everybody, we have two different types of insulin. We have a basal insulin and we have an eating insulin. Okay. Our basal insulin is 24-hour insulin. Then we have a basal or an eating insulin. So when we eat, our insulin goes up and it grabs our food and it brings it down. So anytime we eat a sugar, what we do is we spike our insulin and we spike our sugar. So if we don't have protein, we drop out. That's when we have a low blood sugar. So what we have to do is we eat that protein so it balances out our insulin and it comes down together nice and even. So when we are diabetic, what happens is our blood sugar goes up. We don't have enough insulin, so our blood sugar stays up and it never comes down. So what we need to do is we have to have that protein so that it can help balance out, and so we don't drop out, and then we don't have that spike of our blood sugar, and so our insulin can work a little bit better. So what we have to do is, as a diabetic, we have to make sure we have more protein than carbs when we eat. So what you need to do is, as a diabetic, make sure every time anything goes in your mouth, there's protein with it, and more protein than carb. So when we eat, everybody, this is anybody on a GLP, anytime you eat, you need the protein. Okay. So what you're doing as a diabetic, you're trying to balance out that protein so that the protein is the priority and the carb is not. So what you want to do is, everybody, because when you're on a GLP, you're trying to pretend that you're kind of like a diabetic. So what you're doing is you're eating protein. We want our complex carbs because that's energy. So if you're naturally getting it from the earth, so if it's from the earth, it's a complex carb. Complex carbs naturally from the earth. Simple carb, processed white by man. We don't want it. It's processed by man. So that is going to spike our insulin, spike our blood sugar, and we don't want it. That's why it drops out. We feel gross. We feel tired. We feel nauseous. We don't want it. So what we need to do is protein. Okay. That's what's really, really, really important. So what the protein does is it's balancing out our bodies. So when you're taking in that protein, you're balancing out your insulin and you don't drop and bottom out. So when you're a diabetic, it becomes very, 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 very important that you're getting that protein. So what I tell my diabetics is you have to get that balance, but your loss is going to be a lot slower than anybody that's not diabetic. So I'm really, really, really good at helping my diabetics finally get that loss. It takes a minute. It really, really does. You aren't going to have that normal loss like a person, normal, not diabetic person does. So, when I say guys over a 30 BMI that have 3 to 5, or women over a 30 BMI that have a 1 to 3 a week, you're probably going to be on that lower end. It can still happen, but you have to get that protein. So it's really, I tell my diabet, you really, really, really have to trust the process, because if you don't, you might not have it. So this is really, really, really important. So what I really, DM me, because it's super important to understand that, because if you don't understand that, you're not going to have that L. And it's really hard for diabetics to trust the process, because it's so frustrating. And actually, for everybody, it's so frustrating. And this is important for that stall as well, because when you hit that stall, what do you want to do? You want to give up. Don't give up. Don't ever give up, people, because that is what I'm here for. That is what my team is here for. Because you know what? How many times do you think I wanted to give up? How many times do you think I said, forget it, I'm done, I'm not doing this no more? I've been there. I understand. So I get it. And that's what's so important. And that's why I love what I do. And yes, I told you I can prescribe, but it's not important. I'm just here to, really educate and teach, guys. And that's what I'm here for.